How do everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4Color. My name is Stefan. Sorry about the late video, everyone. With the holiday season and all, got a little behind. However, these are my week's polls, and without further ado, we got a lot of them, so let's get into them. The first one I have for you is Wolverine Madripoor Nights. Really like that cover. Pretty cool. And this is number 2. It's written by the famed Chris Claremont, and the art is by Edgar Salazar. So Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow find out that they're actually helping a crime lord regain some of her power. She's been in this gang war with another crime lord, and she's asking for help. They kind of decide to help her and are attacked by some old villains and lose a little bit of their soul in the process. It's just a fun read. It's not really going to shatter anything now for the X-Men because it's written kind of in the bygone time period of comics. It is a sequel to an old issue of Uncanny X-Men. But Claremont is really just writing a fun story, and I like to see how these characters interact. All right. So the next one I have for you is Vampirella. Ooh, sorry about the cover here. Although I do like the pumpkin, kind of a cool little witchy thing there. Vampirella 667. Now this is written by Christopher Priest, and the art is by Ergun Gundes. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Well, in this issue, we actually find out that Vampirella is in an alternate reality of her own making, maybe. They don't really explain it. They don't really explain why she's there or really what's going on. I really hope they do soon so I can keep with it. I've been loving the one-shots and the mini-series for Vampirella lately, and I'd really like to get into this. I'm just having a really hard time doing it. So hopefully they start to explain what's going on soon. All right, the next one I have is an old reliable, Superman. Number 12. And I really like this cover with the kryptonite and the fighting in the back. So this is the conclusion to Superman and a good Lex Luthor fighting Lex Luthor's mother and Graft and Farm. It's nothing to write home about. It's a fun story. It's written by Joshua Williamson, and the art is done by David Baldian and Norm Rapmund. Like I said, it's a good story. I'm not really sure why Lex is a good guy now. I don't know how long that's going to last because I'm just waiting for the big reveal that this is all part of Lex Luthor's master plan to discredit Clark, Kal-El, Superman. I'm just waiting for that. But we're on issue 12 already, and he's still fighting the good fight. So I'm a little confused. Like I said, the story's okay. It's kind of a fun Superman story, but probably in a year, I'm not really going to remember what happened. However, at the very end, we get a little teaser that the next big story arc for Superman is a Brainiac story. And I'm kind of excited about that. I want to see where that goes. So, good, but nothing to write home about. All right. The next one I have for you is Red Sonja #5. Very nice art on that cover. This is the end of this storyline. I think it's the end of the comic, which I'm really sad about because I was liking this one, Savage Red Sonja, a lot more than the regular Red Sonja title that's being released every month. This one's written by Dan Panosian, and the art is by Alonso Patillo. And the art, like I've said before, is kind of dirty. It's not very clean lines. However, I really think it fits the story. The end of this sees Red Sonja going up against a red dragon, fire-breathing, probably, I would say, for us D&D fans, a adult dragon. Probably not ancient, but definitely pretty powerful, as she's trying to help a witch get the scepter and the red ruby together so that it can be more powerful for the witch. I did not see the end coming. The end was great. Red Sonja definitely gets her due on this, and this whole series, it's only 5 issues. This whole series is a strong recommend, especially at the end. And if you want to read this, I really don't want to ruin it for you. It was pretty clever. All right, so that is the end, I think, of Savage Red Sonja. Kind of sad about that one. All right, the next book I have for you is The Justice Society of America, #9, with Mr. Terrific on the cover there. On the run, apprehended. On the run, apprehended. So this one is written by the great Jeff Johns, and the art is by Mikkel Janin. And this sees the Justice Society recruiting villains to help them, to help them turn over a new leaf and become heroes. And there's a big bombshell at the end. I don't want to ruin that for you, but this has always been a really fun read. And I know that the issues have had a lot of trouble coming out on time. I know Jeff Johns is doing something with his own company now called Ghost Machine, and those are coming out soon and will appear here because I'm pretty excited about them. I'm just really sad because it seems like for someone that really, really gets the Justice Society of America, that is Jeff Johns. And I'm going to be very sorry to see him go from DC and not do the Justice Society anymore. Hopefully they will continue this and it won't just end because it's one of my favorite teams. But right now, strong recommend. Just fun books, fun characters, really well written by Mr. Johns. All right, the next one, talk about some of my favorite teams. The Titans, #9, I think that is. And we see the Teen Titans there behind bars and Amanda Waller in the foreground. This one is written by Tom Taylor and the art's by Lucas Meyer. And spoiler alert, obviously for most of these, the cover is a little misleading. I'll just leave it at that. However, I will say Trigon having a business meeting with Amanda Waller? What? Yeah, that's happening. Are you the good guy, Amanda? Really? And Raven furthers her plans against the Titans. So, great read. Really digging this. Tom Taylor's making my team proud, and definitely going to keep reading Strong recommend for the Titans. All right. Speaking of Tom Taylor and my favorite team, the next one we have is Nightwing 112. A lot of white on this cover. Not really sure if I'm liking it too much. Maybe would have liked to see them actually with the city in the background. They're drawn really well, but I would have liked to seen a little bit more. It kind of, to me, seems like they forgot half of the cover. However, the art inside's really well done, and this is obviously written by Tom Taylor, and the art is by Sammy Basri. And this comic, this issue, I mean, the whole run Tom Taylor's been doing has just been knocking it out of the park. Really good. If you are a Nightwing fan, do yourself a favor and pick this up. Pick up the back issues, pick up everything for this. And this issue specifically, however, Batman and Nightwing, but more importantly, Bruce and Dick help a young child out who is in some dire straits. And it is just a great, great insight into Bruce and Dick's relationship. They talk about each other. There's a little narration of what they think about each other. It is a beautiful family story, and I really, really recommend it. Even if you decide not to pick up any other issues, this issue and maybe the issue before it where they start the story with the boy, definitely pick these up if you like these two characters, if you like family, because they really do a good job. And you start to understand, you really understand the relationship between Bruce and Dick, and it is just great. This is a strong recommend for not only this book, but the issue before it. Kind of duology here, and good plot, good story, family, Bruce and Dick, definitely a recommend. All right, so family and a deep plot and beautiful characters. Now we go to April! Special number one shot. Yep. All the ape characters that they can fit into one comic book. So this is written, there's actually, I think 3 stories in this, written by different teams. The first one is written by John Layman with the art by Carl Mostert, I think. Mostert. Sorry if I am misspelling or mispronouncing your name. That one, so Gorilla Grodd has been captured by the Flash in a Flash comic. And so Monsieur Mala, another simian, decides that he's going to teach the humans a lesson and he's going to take over Bloodhaven. And if he takes over Bloodhaven, well, then Gorilla City, seeing how powerful he is obviously going to have to kowtow to him, and he's actually going to be able to rule Gorilla City is what he really wants. So he gets a bunch of the other simian characters, Titano and the Ultra Humanite and Silverback and a couple others. He gets them together and he attacks Bloodhaven. Well, who is in their way? We start off with Sam Simeon. I don't think I've ever read anything with this character, but basically he's Humphrey Bogart as an ape man. And we quickly also get my boy, Bobo, Detective Chimp, helping him out. So they all get together and they are fighting with the... Now they get together and so they're all going to have teams, right? So the bad guy team is the League of Doom. So the League of Doom. But it's always written like what I said. And no, don't worry. I'm not doing that again. but they're getting their butts kicked. The humans are, not the humans, the heroes are getting their butts kicked. So Detective Chimp runs off, comes back with the Gleek, the monkey, the monkey that was helping or friends with the Wonder Twins, and Beppo, the super monkey. And super monkey, basically Superman as a monkey. And there's a big fight. They form the JLA, the Jungle League of America, and I'm not going to do it. So the two teams fight, and obviously the Jungle League of America wins out by the end of the story, and then the Titans come in and help clean up the city, because that's what the human heroes are good for. It was a lot of fun, a lot of puns, a lot of ape puns. I mean, you know what you're getting when you get Ape Real Special. But it was a fun read. The second story was actually my favorite. It was written and I think drawn by Joshua Hale Joshua Hale. And this one was really good. It was a noir story. Basically, Detective Chimp is hitchhiking, and he's picked up by this person. And through the course of it, you find out that this person did something very, very bad. And it's only about, I think, 7 or so pages. But towards the end of it, you can see how Detective Chimp was using his brain, able to figure out what exactly this person did, and it gets resolved. It is really well written. I really like because, we have Detective Chimp in a big story fighting the Legion of... Okay. And yeah, so it was a good, just solid, small Detective Chimp story, and I loved it. And I wish, honestly, give Joshua Hale a Detective Chimp at least at the very least a miniseries, because I'd love to see what he does with it. The last story is written by, I think that the art was by Phil Hester. So Joshua Hale, Phil Hester, give them a Detective Chimp story, give them an issue, give them a comic, please. I really liked it. The last story was written by Jean Lun Young, and the art was by Bernard Chang, and it was a story about the Monkey Prince. I know he's a relatively newer character. I don't know really anything about him. Found out that with the first story, because he was in the first story, and this story, that he takes his limbs off and they can do stuff. Somebody had stolen his limb or something. I'm not exactly sure, but then he has to get it back, and I find out that the Ultra Humanite's his grandfather. It was a fun story. It was a fun little compact superhero story. I definitely think it was well written. The pacing was fun. The fight was fun. I just didn't really know anything about the character, but it was a good read. At the end of it, there's some kind of homages to ape covers from yesteryear, which was kind of fun. So it's just a one-shot. It's just a fun comic. I recommend picking it up. I kind of have a special place in my heart for the simian characters, the DC especially, obviously, Bobo. So, yeah, one-shot, fun read. I'd recommend picking it up. All right, so I got 2 left, two big ones here. So the first one is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And this is issue number 4. And it is written, art, pretty much everything by Patrick Harvath. This is a very, very good book. It's Berenstain Bears meets Dexter. Yes, I said it right. Dexter. It's about two serial killers. And all of the art is like this, with anthropomorphic animals as humans and the like. Well, we come to find out that the second serial killer is a fan, a super fan of Samantha, the original. And what happens at the end of this issue cannot be spoiled. It must be read. Holy cow, Mr. Harvath. You are, pun intended, killing it with this series. And I am so enjoying it. I'm glad that it's not stopping. I originally thought it was stopping with issue 4, but it's not. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but if it keeps up with this type of excellent storytelling and art, I am in it the whole time. This is a great book. It is a must read. It is a strong recommend. Beneath the trees where nobody sees. Yeah, the ending, killer. All right. That being said, we come to the end for this one. John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, number 3. This story takes place, this part of the story, it's a miniseries, takes place on the Mexican-American border and everything that's wrapped up around that. John Constantine, the Swamp Thing, and a few others are trying to help John Constantine because he's dead. He doesn't want to be. So they have an oracle that has lived for centuries, and she's telling her story. All the while, this other story is happening along the border of Mexico and the United States. And it is very well paced. The art is very good. This is written by what I believe is a pretty seminal writing team for Constantine. They did another series before this one that was pretty well received. Simon Spurrier for the writing and Aaron Campbell for the art. And the art is just so evocative. So it's horror filled. It's you can, I'm trying to think of the words. It is just such, I mean, you can kind of see a little bit here. It's a little bit more colorful than the actual book, but it is so good. And with Simon's words, they are just killing it with this series, and I'm really enjoying it. Constantine searches for his life as the story of what's going on with two individuals along the border is kind of coming to fruition, and also the story, the backstory of this oracle. And I don't really want to spoil anything for you. I think you should read this book if you like horror, if you like Constantine. If you just like reading good comics, this is a strong recommend. And I cannot say enough about it. I think you just need to read it. That being said, this is the end of my polls for this week. I had a comment from somebody that watched my videos that I need to do something about my notes, because I guess I'm kind of looking at my notes a lot, looking down. If anybody has any ideas of how I could do that better, besides memorizing everything, please let me know. Leave that down in the comments. I would like to make this channel a lot better. I am working on it, and we're thinking about getting some new things for each video. Also, maybe adding some inside cover art to my videos when I'm like, oh my God, you have to see this art. Well, I'll actually show you some of it. So please, if you have any ideas of how I could do some things better, please let me know. So leave that in the comments, and then I'm going to give you the spiel. So you need to subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and please like this video. I'd love it if you did all those things, but at least if you're watching the video and enjoying it, I'm enjoying you watching it. I would like to kind of talk to you, guys and gals, because that's why I do this. I love comics. I love talking about comics. So yeah. So other than that, remember what your mom always said. If you gotta be a dick, be a Grayson. Oh, and okay, one more. Never, ever join the Legion of Do. Keep reading, everybody. See you next time.